Oh, I have a funny one. I don't know if I should share, but it's funny.
Just go for it.
It was our first date, and Greg took me hiking to a really popular trail in the Washington area, in the Seattle. I don't even know. It's a Issaquah area, and it's like a 3-mile hike, like a mile and a half up this hill and then a mile and a half down. So we get to the top of the cliff, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta go pee, like a mile and a half back, like I can't hold it. So I peed in front of my now husband on our first date. Like he was very he kept guard, and I was like, if he's like judging me right now, then he's not the guy for me. But if he's cool with this, like that's cool. And then he always thinks about it. And he's like, oh, I thought that was like, yeah, cool. She's just like peeing in the woods. And I was like, this is how to go. That's it. So that's my funny story.
Oh, that's good. I love that.
Hilarious. That's awesome.
I have a funny one. Or does someone else have one?
Go,
okay.
Jen.
So pretty early on, Daniel and I both like lived with our parents, so we had to go places to see each other and be like real with each other, because and so we went to the wildlife refuge like parking area in Sherwood and made out basically to music, and it's late at night, and then we went to go home and the battery was dead. So we had to walk home in the middle of the night along this like highway, and we got home, like we got there, and I didn't want to wake my parents up, so I like got my key and we rolled our car out of the driveway and down the road, and then we started it and then went back and yeah, jumped to the car, and I came back home.
Oh, that's so awesome.
I didn't talk to Daniel for the first 6 months we knew each other. We were actually dance partners because we danced on a ballroom dance team, and I was so shy that I did not talk to him. And then it came, I don't know, it's a long story, but our first date was not supposed to happen. I got paired up and I only gave them his name because I knew he'd say no. And then he ended up saying yes, and I didn't have the heart to tell him, like, I don't want to go. So like Facebook messaged me, like, we should probably like hang out so we get to know each other. And I was like, oh, I guess we should. It worked out really well. But yes, I was super against our first date.
That is so funny.
I thought Carl was a creeper when I first met him, because we were line dancing at a bar, a friend of mine, and then we looked over and he was like by himself because he just moved to the area, and he just kept like looking down at his drink, and then he'd kind of look over at us because he wanted to come talk to us because he knew how to line dance the way we did, and so he was like sidestepping towards us, and so I told my friend to pretend we were deep in conversation so that he wouldn't come talk to us. And then when he got too close, I was like, let's go to the bathroom. And I ran to the bathroom, and she stayed. And luckily she's really nice.
Oh, that's funny.
That's awesome. So funny. I broke my foot on our honeymoon, on the last night of our honeymoon in Mexico, drinking tequila. That was not smart. I walked off a retaining wall.
Oh
my gosh. There was like a ramp. I went to go, we were at an all-inclusive, and you know, they tell you not to tip anybody when you're there, but we wanted to. And so I went to go to the ATM machine to get money, and you know, the all-inclusives they had like 50, 60 tequilas, and we were at a restaurant, and I go, just we want to try some of your really good tequila. So he brought us a shot of it, and I don't drink very rarely. And it was so smooth. It was like water. Oh, we'll have another one of those. So I had two. And so I went to go get money, and I walked, I thought I was walking down the stairs. I was counting the money. I was only wearing beach shoes. And instead of walking down the stairs, I was counting money, and there was this bar, open air bar. My husband was still in the restaurant, and you had bands on your wrist, and I walked off that wall and broke my ankle. It was great coming home. It was painful, but I got through the pilot customs. I was from the plane to our car in 10 minutes, literally, because my broken foot got us through the pilot customs. We didn't have to go through customs. And so, but yeah, the last night, so people, my Dawn always tells everybody, she's like, yeah, she was dancing on the tables and she fell off. And I'm like, thank God that's not the case. Not what happened on our honeymoon. Yeah, it was like, that was not, I'm glad it was the last night there, not the first night there.
I'm trying to think of a good one. Okay, so we dated all through college. And so we were like poor college students. And my husband is quite frugal. If for any of you who know him, you would agree, like he's quite frugal. And so we didn't go out like on big dates very often, like out to eat or anything, but he one day was like, I found a new place and we should totally go there. And I was like, oh yes, like a date, like a for real date night. And I was like, should I dress up or like, what's the, like vibe? Like, is it fancy or whatever? He was like, oh yeah, you can dress up, look nice. That sounds good. And I was like, okay, yes. And so I like got all fancy and we start walking off campus and he stops me. He's like, we're here. I was like, Subway? Like, this is Subway.
Oh,
and he was like, yeah, if you show your student ID, you get a discount.
Oh,
No.
Like, I can't believe you married him, Jesse, after that.
Right. Well, okay. So I have to tell you, like afterward, he was like oblivious at that point because we had like we hadn't been dating very long, but he was just kind of like, oh man, I thought you'd really like it. Like I was genuinely excited about the discount. And so we walked after that, like on campus, and I was like fuming, and he could tell. So he like had taken one of the Subway napkins, and while we were walking, he folded it into a little flower. And then like apologized at one point. He was like, I'm sorry. Like, I just missed that. I was like, I get it. Like, I can see why you're upset now. And I was just like, all right, you just redeemed yourself. So he has redeemed qualities.
Funny.
And I now appreciate his frugality. But at that moment, not so much.
Oh, that's
For
good.
Dave. For Dave and I's first Christmas as a couple, he bought me ice skates for Christmas. Ice skates and gloves and scarf. And here's the photo. Let me show you. And then I'll tell you the funny part.
Oh,
They're so young.
you look
Okay.
so
That's so cute.
This is in Irvine, California. It's like 85 degrees outside.
cute.
That's so funny.
Dave.
All these layers like sweating. It's so funny.
right. Oh, that's good.
Awesome.
So
Nice to be young.
okay,
So I have a question. How long have you all been together?
8 years.
I think
You said 8, Jen?
Jen, yeah.
Yeah.
Like married
Really?
or together?
just together.
Okay.
She muted, but just together. We were just talking to someone yesterday about this. So 18 years. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Nutty.
I think we're like 16
Mm-hmm.
or so.
We're at
Awesome.
18.
8.
13 for us.
Nice.
5.
5. Wow. 19.
So I'm gonna date myself. 21.
Woo!
Love it.
Uh,
That's
Wait,
awesome.
who said?
Yeah,
Who said 21?
Tracy.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's
We-
awesome.
We dated through college. So we were one of those who dated forever because we lived in different towns. And yeah,
That's
got
awesome.
married the second I graduated.
I think it's
Me too,
I think
Tracy.
it's 7 for us.
Nice. Me and you, Tracy, this is Jessie. We have been together 22 years.
Oh, I love it.
Very
So-
nice.
Makes me feel old when I say that.
I know.
It is surprising. It goes fast.
Right.
Okay, I'm just gonna throw out like questions to get us thinking about date nights now, and you can just like popcorn, just jump out and say, you know, like tell me the answer. So, what makes a good date in your, like, according to you? What makes a good date?
Fun and good conversation.
Hmm. For me, it's kid-free.
Doing something out of the ordinary.
Hmm.
Mm.
Quality intentional.
Yeah,
Being-
intentional quality time.
Hmm.
When real smiles happen.
Hmm.
Hmm. That's good.
Mhm.
And effortless.
Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah. I would say two for me is like when we are successful at not discussing business, like household chores or budget, or like that's off
Yeah.
limits. Like when we can successfully have a date without that.
Or a successful date without running to Home Depot.
Grocery store.
Totally. For sure.
How about cell phone free?
Oh yeah.
Totally. That's good.
Oh, okay. So who usually plans the dates at your house? Your date nights?
Daniel.
Interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm usually in charge too.
Mhm.
I'm usually in charge, but now we have the rule that we switch off every other because I'm like it's just too much for me at this point.
Yeah.
But and it's just fun.
Uh,
Greg has good ideas, so
That's cool.
Both of
Yeah.
us, I would say. We since Don travels a lot, we actually text date. We'll flirt, text date, set up dates via phone, and we'll actually, like, the kids will go to bed and he'll pack like candle, and I have packed a or I have a candle here at home, and we sit with a candle and like Zoom via candlelight.
That's cute.
So we can see each other. Yeah.
Awesome.
I like that.
It's a shared responsibility, but I am the one who usually finds childcare. Like that's my job.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I will loop back and I'm going to ask you some other questions too, just to like think through them. But I want to hear, what are your date ideas? So like, what is a date that has worked fairly recently, or not maybe, but like, what is something that could work right now? And really thinking outside the box. So like a date that like with or without childcare, or at your house or not at your house, like it could be anything, but really trying to think through like what has something that has worked recently so that I can make a list and we can share it out and then try some of them. So I will start it off. And so our successful date actually was like, it was pre-COVID, which is super funny now in retrospect, but we wanted to watch, we were watching all the Avengers movies before we went to the theater to watch the new one that was going to get released. And so we had one more to go, or I don't even remember, but we were like, well, we want to watch the movie for our date, but we don't want to be at home. Like, how can we make that work? And so we went and got food at the old spaghetti factory to go, and then sat in the car with my iPad and watched a movie in the backseat of our car. But now in retrospect, we were kind of like, hey, that's kind of genius. Like, we could totally do that now. Like, even if we just put the kids to bed and then just like go out, like get special food and go out, or even set up, like we had that thought of like, well, we don't have to sit in the car. Maybe we could set up like a special theater or something, just make it a special movie night versus just like plopping down and watching a movie. So anyways, that was ours, like the drive in, but not a drive-in.
So it wasn't like my idea or anything. So my friend got like a date night box. She got a couple of them. And then when she was done with them, she's just like, oh, here, like you can do these activities too. So she just like, so anyway, so I looked through and there was one that was a challenge, and we like, one of us was blindfolded and the other was not. And so for my husband's challenge, I guess, or my challenge to communicate, he was blindfolded, and I set up an obstacle course, and then he had to get through this obstacle course with just my voice. And then we switched, and when I was blindfolded, he taught me how to fold a paper airplane, and then see how good it went with me blindfolded. So it was really fun, and I think it would be more fun with, some wine and getting a little loosey-goosey. I don't know.
No tequila though, because that sounds like Claudette's story could happen. Obstacle course.
Maybe too much.
I do not recommend tequila. I still don't drink tequila to this day.
Wow.
So I can go next. Something we did recently that was really fun is we joined a wine club through a wine shop here in Albany, and you get like 24 bottles, or a big amount. But anyways, we came home and did like a little wine tasting, like starting with the whites and the rosé and on the reds. And it was so fun. And like at the end, it's a little bit silly, but like, it was a really nice thing. And you talk about each one and like give each one points. So we really enjoyed that.
Oh, that's super fun.
Cool.
We like to play like either a board game or a card game or something after kids go to bed. We'll like sit down at the table and actually play a game, and we enjoy that.
We
Okay, this.
go ahead.
Nope, I'm waiting for you.
Okay. We did a concert. Like some of the colleges will do like free concerts via Zoom now, and so we did one, but we like got like completely dressed up like you would go out to like a concert, makeup and high heels and sexy dress, and then we had to like do headphones because our kids' room is like right next to the computer. So we both had headphones on and we were watching it, and I don't know, it was fun to just like dress up even though it was only inside for a few hours.
You just described like my like favorite kind of dates is like getting dressed up and going to a show or an opera or something.
Yeah.
I miss it so much.
I
That
know.
sounds awesome.
It was fun. Even
One
worse.
day those will happen again. So one of our favorite things to do is, this is definitely pre-COVID, but we like to do progressive dinners at restaurants. And so we share everything, but you go and you get drinks, and then you go and you get salad, and then you go and you get soup, and you like just make your way through whatever town you're in, having the best of everything. And it takes hours, which is my favorite, because then you have unlimited amount of time to talk. And if you
So like what
have
time do you
hours, you
start?
can take hours, and that's our favorite. Oh, dinner time, like at 5.
Okay.
But I mean, if you have a babysitter that can if you have a babysitter that can stay until 9:30 or 10, then you can kind of shut the town down pretty easily.
Yeah.
So
That's our favorite as well. I was going to say that as well. And we've also gone to just market of choice pre-COVID, obviously, and sat there because you can get whatever you want to eat, you two, and you can sit if you can get by the fireplace, you can sit there, people watch, then you can have dessert and you can have coffee. You can just eat your way through market of choice. So we like those too. Yeah.
This is making me think of, so one of my favorite dates that we used to do, we haven't done one for a while, which we should, but we would obviously wait till it was good weather. And then we would call it a French picnic date. So we'd get like a bottle of wine, good yummy bread and cheese, and just like snacky type foods, and then just go have a picnic somewhere. But that sometimes we did a couple, like including our kids too, and even that was really fun, just something different and out of the norm.
We did that last summer, kind of. We started taking, like, we were doing like a weekly date with our son, but we would go down to the river and bring a blanket or some chairs and have dinner, or like a early dinner, late lunch, and then we would do like rock hunting, looking for cool rocks, because all the river rock down there, and it was just kind of relaxing and fun. But we did notice that like we were missing that connection time where we were constantly like in the house and taking care of things, and it was just kind of like we were missing each other. So we started doing twice a week after Case goes to bed, we go through questions with each other. So it's like, how did you feel encouraged by me this, the past few days? How would you feel encouraged in the next couple of days? Was there any way that I disappointed you this week? How can I pray for you? How would you feel pursued in sex and intimacy? And and it's nice to like have that small amount of time to connect, and just feel like we're kind of touching base and bonding, I guess. That's helped us during like when date nights aren't really looking the same.
No, that's super smart.
Yeah, Daniel and I have started playing cribbage, which isn't a super intense game. And those cube cards that I got date night or dating people's topic question cards, it's like the table topics. There's a dating one, and we've been going through those as we play the game. So it's been kind of fun.
When you first said Daniel and I have been playing, I thought you said Quidditch.
Oh. Nope.
Yeah. So Dave and I, we do the progressive meals, and that's really fun. And something else that we do is we will put on random, like, tonight's salsa night. Pretend that we're salsa dancers. It was really funny, or like country line dancing or swing dancing, and we just pretend we know what we're doing. It's funny. So.
We have, for the progressive dinners, now COVID, and we pick up food to go, we still do them, but we set up the back of the SUV, and with a blanket and like a little cute little folding table type thing, and like, because it has little cup holders on the sides, on the back, on each side, and little ice chest. We bring our own drinks, so we can drink whatever we want. And then, but we go and sit in the back of the SUV wherever we're at. We find sometimes if it's light enough, we find a nice place to go to and sit. But we usually sit in the back of the SUV and bring a card game or whatever, and sit in the back of the car eating dinner.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we've even brought it home and the babysitter's here, but like if Eli's having a hard time and he needs to see us really quick, we can run inside, and if he calms down, then we go back out and just sit in the driveway. And outside, and we're blessed, and we have a trailer, so we've had date nights in our trailer. We didn't even go anywhere. We ordered food to come from Grubhub or whatever, and we sat in the trailer, so we didn't even go anywhere. We just sat in the trailer the whole time. We've set up a tent in the backyard in the summertime, and Dawn and I watched a movie out in the tent after the kids went to bed.
Can I say something I want to do? I don't know if it would work. I want to go to our favorite spot to walk that we don't get to go very often because it's a drive. And then we have a friend who has a hot tub, and I'm not sure yet if it's available, but if you have someone that has a hot tub, they'd be willing to just be like, yeah, pop in and use it. You don't even have to go inside. Right. I'd like to end with a hot tub. It'd be like a surprise date. I'm gonna try and see if I can make it work, but we love hot tubs, so I want to make that happen.
That's a good idea.
I have done that, and it's a great way to get out of your own house. And
yeah, I hope I can make it work.
And hi, Vanessa, welcome.
Wait, what?
I'm only here for a few minutes, but it's good to see you.
Oh yeah.
Yes, you too. All right. Any other last minute date ideas?
Just about the food thing and eating in the back of an SUV. Dave and I we drove to the coast, and we got the girls like to go food or packed them a dinner or whatever. And they were in the back seat, and Teddy thankfully was sleeping. And then Dave and I went to this place called the Crab Shack, I think. And they sell like whole crabs, and we sat in the minivan with the top, like it opened so that we weren't getting soaked because it was raining at the coast, and we ate crab legs in the back of the car. It was awesome.
That's cool.
Really cool.
That's fun.
Yeah,
I love it. Car dates, awesome.
We've made it like, we've had a babysitter recently who's someone who's been in our bubble the whole time. Luckily they have teenagers. It's great. But we have started like going over to a friend who has a baby's house, and we'll sit in their carport with them. Either play games or do something, and like they kind of cover their carport with like tarp so that it's a little bit warmer on the really cold nights, and the rain's not coming in.
That's
but
cool.
it's been a good way to like connect with friends who we haven't really been able to see very much otherwise.
Totally.
Yeah. He'll usually like string up lights and make it kind of, I don't know, it feels like we're going to a fancy restaurant or something. That's fun.
Awesome. Those are super great ideas. I'll make a list and we'll post it, and that way you can kind of like check through. That's what I'm going to do. Making my list, be like, okay, what are we going to try this time? No, I'm excited. Those are super good ideas. Okay. I am interested to know, we have a few more minutes, and I totally want to hear, just for fun, what is like similar to like what Jen was talking about, but even like bigger, like what is a dream date that you would love to go on, but you just are like, I don't think we will ever do that. So I'll start it. James and I have talked about this, and often like we'll just, as we're chatting or whatever, be like, wouldn't it be fun if like this or that? And it always ends up being like somehow getting on a private jet and just going somewhere super awesome, like Paris or even like Vegas to watch a show and like eat amazing food, and then just fly home and like nothing happened. Almost like the Pretty Woman date, where it's like you get the beautiful jewelry and you like do this big old extravagant thing and then just fly home. Like that's probably never gonna happen, but it sounds so fun.
Jesse, you described what me and the kids pretended to do at Fort Hoskins today. Paxton's like, let's get on our plane. We're going to go to Paris. We're going to see the Eiffel Tower. And then we flew back and drove home.
That's so cute.
I was. Just pretend. What is your dream date? I'm curious.
Oh, Carl's family, they went to Italy when he was like 9 or something, and they were eating in this restaurant, and for some reason the owners of the restaurant like fell in love with Carl. Like they were telling him like, oh, when you get engaged, we want to do your engagement dinner, like, which like, yeah. Like, we're not gonna go back to Italy for our engagement dinner, but we always kind of joke about like trying to find that restaurant, like going on a date and like trying to find that restaurant, because it was just a little hole in the wall, he said. So it would be pretty much impossible to ever find. But
that's awesome. That's so funny.
We would like to go somewhere backpacking without children, obviously, and maybe like fly somewhere in a different state, because there's some places Daniel really wants to go that are not accessible by just driving, but like going to a different state and backpacking, like just taking your backpack, flying there and like backpacking and then flying back, you know.
That sounds,
it's not impossible. Like it's possible we could do it, but
my dream date would be I guess it would be more than just like a date, but I would love for me and my husband to do a yoga retreat together, because we do yoga together all the time, and like a retreat, like 3 days without the kids, somewhere tropical, like
that's glorious.
Totally, yeah.
I want to go back to the Grand Canyon with Dawn. It's not really a date either. It's a trip and fly there, because I don't want to go there and walking on the paths without kids telling me, are we done yet? We're hot. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I don't want to be here anymore. And I'm like,
totally.
I want to go and enjoy all the paths and the rims on the south and the north. And I want to be able to go and do things in the Grand Canyon without kids. That's our dream for Dawn too. That's what we want to do.
This isn't like I guess super extravagant, but I love like a spa day. And Dave doesn't mind them either. And so like I think it would be so fun to just like do a really intense spa day all day long, and then be able to like go out for a really fancy dinner with just the best. I like get an extraordinary amount of joy out of food. Like I love food so much. Like I can't eat the same things over and over. Like I gotta mix it up and do fun, or otherwise I get like really bored of it. And so just like trying a new restaurant and ordering like fancy food, it's just like I love doing that. And it's obviously rare regularly, but like extra rare now, so
I like that, Tracy, that spa date. I agree with spa dates. That would be so fun. So nice.
I think
My
we did.
dream- Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, my dream date would involve a trailer or like an RV, a motorhome, and like a nationwide excursion. Like, you know,
that's fun.
That just
Yeah.
sounds awesome.
I would like that
So-
too. That's cool.
And then the bachelor part of me, like massage and a helicopter ride.
100%. 100%.
Over Australia or something.
Hopefully you get a rose though.
Can you imagine? No rose for you, Jenny. Fantasy suite only.
Something that I've always thought would be like so much fun, but Carl would never do it with me. But it would be a cool date, would be to swim with sharks, like do the shark cage.
No.
I always thought that would be so cool.
You'll have to pick a friend. Katie will go with you.
We do that.
Brittany. Yeah.
Super awesome. Okay, I don't have any more prying questions. I've gathered some good information. No shark dates. I think we have one more fun, awesome thing to do. We've got door prizes. Woo! I think Jamie's been slipping your names in as you show up. And names, and then Tracy Lawrence will model what you won.
Yeah. All right, Tracy Lawrence, what's our first prize?
The first prize is coffee date.
Coffee
So there's a
date.
little coffee card. Coffee date.
Fun. So Eva is our winner for that.
Woohoo!
Are you still here?
I think she jumped off, but
okay.
You can still win.
Still win. Showed up. That's the hardest part.
Yeah, it's so
All right.
true.
Okay.
What's
The
our-
next one is movie date. So there's some movie stuff and Redbox vouchers.
Fun.
Nice.
Claudette.
Oh, perfect.
Do we have one more?
Yes. Yep. One more. The last one is game date.
Game date.
And there's some treats back there too.
So cute.
And then game day night.
Fun. Vanessa is our winner. I know she had to jump off.
Oh, perfect.
Fun.
Super fun. Jamie, I don't know if you had any other announcements or anything to like wrap it up, but we can just hang and chat. I don't have anything else scheduled.
Awesome. Well, we're back in 2 weeks with Dr. Rivers, who's our pediatrician. And she'll be giving us all the good info on, I think, just things that she's seen really common and kids are coming in, right? Yep. So yeah, join us again in 2 weeks, and we're so glad to see you guys. It's just such a treat every 2 weeks. Get to hang. But yeah, we'll hang for a while longer. Yeah, I'm just gonna stop the recording.